today's video, I am sharing with you my top tips or hacks on how to better manage your time. And these can all be used separately. They don't have to be all used together. So there are different ways that you can do to help you with your time management. These are things that I have discovered over the years, whether through trial and error or just reading about it. I have definitely learned a lot. All of this I probably started focusing more on my time management when I was in college because I was doing so much at the time and needed a way to be more productive and manage my time more efficiently. As much as I love my planner, I can't believe I'm gonna say this, but as much as I love my planner, I think sometimes people think that you need to use a planner to be able to manage your time better. And I don't necessarily think that that's 100% true. I think that there's tips that you can use, even if you just use like a sheet of notebook paper, to better manage your time and better prioritize and all of that good stuff. So for today's video, I'm gonna be sharing with you tips on how to better manage your time and how to be more productive. If you're not already, be sure to subscribe. We are right in the middle of YouTober, so I'm uploading a video every single day in the month of October. I am loving creating these videos. It is so much fun. Let's just jump right in and I'm gonna just share these tips with you. So the first thing I'm gonna talk about is prioritizing. So when it comes to prioritizing, the kind of norm in society is to just like write everything down on a list, right? You just write this huge list of all these things you have to do. And then I think it can be really easy to get very overwhelmed. At least I know for me, I can get overwhelmed if I have way too many things to do. So one of the things that I have found really helpful for me is to prioritize. And one way that you can prioritize, I believe this is from the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I might have read it somewhere else too, so don't quote me on that. Basically with prioritizing, you can break up all of your tasks into certain categories. So you can break it up by things that you have to do that are urgent. So these need to be done right now and urgent for them to get done. Things that you have to do but are not urgent. So this could be things that are maybe scheduled out in the future. Things that you do not have to do right now but are still urgent. So things that maybe have a deadline, like does not have to be done today but has to be done by this date. That go into that category. And then the last category is things that you don't have to do that are not really urgent, but maybe things that you kind of maybe want to do but don't really see a priority of it. Those tasks actually are tasks that you can just kind of cut out, which is the idea behind the prioritizing. As far as the other tasks go, then you kind of have an idea of what to do first, second, and third, right? So you can kind of do based on those categories. The items that are in the category of have to do right now and urgent, so that first category, you can go through and actually number them. So you can prioritize them based on order of importance. Number 1 being the thing that needs to absolutely get done right now, this second. I need to do this today. That would be number 1. And then you would go down the line in order of importance. It's not necessarily things that you want to do first, but kind of the most important thing, like the thing you need to get done. So that could kind of be like the biggest task that you have that you just keep putting off. That could be your number 1 task. And then that's the one you want to tackle first. So rather than doing a bunch of little kind of seemingly easy, meaningless tasks and then trying to cross those things off and then get to the big task, personally, I found it the most helpful to tackle the biggest task first. A really good book that I've read several times is called Eat That Frog, and it talks about this concept of tackling your biggest hurdle first, and then all the other stuff is a breeze, and you get it done really quick and easy. That is something that has helped me. It's definitely been a practice to get into that routine because my go-to habit is not necessarily to tackle the biggest, most daunting task first. It's kind of to do all the little stuff and be like, okay, I can check this off. You really do feel more productive, and it gives you a little bit of momentum to like keep going and be like, okay, I can do this. What's next? Another tip that I have, which I know so many videos have talked about this, but is to get rid of distractions. Now, how I found this to be most helpful for me is I have gotten into the habit, I know this sounds so seemingly easy, I turn my phone on Do Not Disturb and I turn it on silent, so that way the only time it will ring is if someone from my favorites calls me, and then the people I have on my favorites are, you know, like immediate family, things that if they called me, I would need to answer, type of a thing. So I do that, and then I flip my phone over so the screen is face down. So even if I get a notification or if something lights up my phone, I don't see it. If you see the light from your phone, I think our natural tendency is to be like, oh, what's that? And pick up our phone and look at it. But flipping my phone over has been, honestly, it sounds like the simplest thing in the world, but I don't check my phone nearly as much as I used to in any regard because my phone is just flipped over and it doesn't light up, so I don't even know that I have any notifications. Another thing that I did in regards to my phone is I've actually turned off all of my notifications. I've turned off all the badge app icons on my iPhone so I don't get that red dot over anything. I have 2 apps that I still do leave that badge app icon off, but I've turned everything else off. So the sound, the lock screen notifications, all of that's turned off. And then I have my messages in my phone, also have the badge app icon on. But again, I've turned it completely off on my lock screen. So I don't see anything show up on my lock screen unless I actually open my phone. And that kind of has has helped me break out of the habit of constantly checking my phone and having that as a distraction. If you're someone that really struggles with this, like I know for me, if I'm really in a procrastinating type of a mood, I put my phone in another room. I'll leave it in my room, or I'll put it on the charger or whatever, so that way it's not even anywhere near me. I have to literally get up and walk in here to go check it. So then you kind of have a little bit more of a pause to be like, I don't really want to be checking that right now. Another thing that has been really helpful for me is setting a timer. So I am definitely a big dreamer, I'm a big visionary, and because of that, I have a tendency to have all these big dreams and goals, but then once I sit down and look at all the things I have to do, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I get overwhelmed, I don't want to do it. It seems too overwhelming and just too much. So I end up just putting it off, and I go and I watch Netflix or something. So a way that I've kind of found to combat that is to set a timer. So basically, if it's something that I'm really not wanting to do, like I'm just like, it's like pulling teeth trying to get myself to do something, I'll set a timer, whether it's, like I said, on my phone, if that's not going to be a distraction for you, or you can even use, like I've used my microwave before, or the timer on your microwave or your stove or something like that. Or they also have, which is totally on my wish list on Amazon right now, are these Pomodoro tomato timers. They're like twisty ones, kind of like kitchen timers, but they're kind of made for tasks too. And I've seen like little cube ones, like all kinds of different things on Amazon. If you search timers for time management, I think I searched on Amazon, and there's so many products, like you would be amazed. So something like that, setting a timer has helped me, because then I know, like, okay, for this next 45 minutes, I'm going to be working on editing this video, and then I get a 15-minute break, and I can do whatever I want, and I can check my phone then, and I can, you know, grab a snack or whatever. And so only when that timer is going, I sit down and work on whatever it is, on that one thing. I don't open any other tabs, I don't look at anything else. I just focus on what it is that's in front of me. Now, something that I, again, since I am a big dreamer, have struggled with is when I do have that time set, my mind kind of can start to go bounce around to different things, like, oh, okay, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. So something that I've used to help with that, if that is something that you struggle with too, is I just have my bullet journal open, and I'll jot down a quick bullet of things that pop in my head, or even just a post-it note or something like that, or even just like a blank sheet of notebook paper, just to write down whatever goes through your head, and that way you don't have to worry about it until your timer goes up, and then you can go back to it at that point. And that has helped me so much to at least get the thought from bouncing around in my head to onto paper, and then I get back to the task at hand. That has been super helpful. And then my last tip is to pick your top 3 tasks for the day. So this is really similar to the prioritizing that I was talking about earlier. If you're someone like me and you tend to get really overwhelmed very easily with a lot of things that you have to do in a day, this was helpful for me when I first started prioritizing and building up, especially working from home and trying to get things done that way, is my top 3. So basically, it's your 3 most important tasks that if you don't do anything the rest of the day, but these 3 things, you're still gonna feel like it was an accomplished day, you're still gonna feel like you had a productive day and like you got things done. Sometimes life gets in the way, your days don't go perfectly as you plan them, and you know, things happen, right? So what I like to do is I focus on these top 3, especially if I have really busy weeks. This is extremely helpful because then I don't get so overwhelmed. But picking that top 3 things each day has been very helpful for making sure that I'm getting things done that are actually aligned with my goals, and that are not just kind of mindless tasks that I kind of need to get done, but maybe not that day. I write down everything I have to do that day, and then sometimes I'll highlight my 3 most important tasks, and then that's what I focus on first. So again, going back to that whole idea of like tackling your biggest obstacle first, your biggest thing with that whole eat that frog idea, having a top 3 has helped me prioritize in regards to making sure I'm getting things done that are actually aligned with the big things, like the big overall tasks that I need to get done, if that makes sense. Those are all of my time management and productivity and prioritization tips that I have for you. I hope you found these tips helpful. I hope you can add some of them into your own life. They have really helped me because, like I said, I have a tendency to get really overwhelmed if I have a lot of tasks on my to-do list, and having these time management and productivity hacks in my back pocket has been extremely helpful. So I hope you found these tips helpful too. If you did, be sure to give it a big thumbs up, and if you're not already, please be sure to subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye guys.